Charlie, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and spend a few minutes with me today. And well, first I'd like to ask, how long have you been a manager for Signature Healthcare?
About 10 years.
10 years. And what do you think, or what would you consider to be one of your biggest challenges of leading such a large group that you have here?
The shortage of nursing personnel, RNs, LPNs, certified nursing assistants, certified medical techs. The shortage in the Louisville market is tremendous, and that's our biggest challenge is staffing.
I understand. What is the most difficult decision you've made in this role here at this facility? One of your toughest ones.
Whether to come to work in the morning or not. Basically, I'm teasing. I really haven't had any tough decisions. The facility's done real well, and it runs real smooth, and it's got a great culture, and I really haven't had any major challenges here other than staffing. That's all.
What would you say is the most substantial change that you brought to the organization, either at this facility or one of the others that you've been the administrator of?
Culture. Developed culture amongst the staff. Not necessarily what you would call staff satisfaction, but staff engagement. There's a big difference. Satisfaction just says, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but building a culture of where they're engaged and they want to come to work and they enjoy and they feel fulfilled. I've done real well in creating that culture in any of the buildings I've been at, and that's one of the reasons Signature won't let me retire right now, is because I go to buildings that are in serious need of some culture building. So working with the staff, I really enjoy.
You boost morale, you lift morale. Do you think that most people like to work, or do you think, I guess it depends on the person, whether they spend time trying to get out of work? You mentioned the shortage. I don't know if that was something tied to that, or
I would say probably in a building that doesn't have their staff engaged, it would probably be about 20-25% of their staff probably do not want to come to work. It takes them everything they can to get here on time, and usually they don't come on time, and they take off a lot of days. But if they truly enjoy what they do, they feel fulfilled, and they have the nourishment and nutrition that they need, not food-wise, but emotionally, from the management team and their teammates. I think that probably goes down to where I would say only 10% of the people are not so much engaged. So I think 90% of the staff in this building want to come to work every day.
And so it sort of ties into the next question that I have there is, do you feel like your employees need incentive to keep them motivated?
What type of incentive?
Say, I don't know if you have something like, if you get so many good surveys, then you would get like a half day off or something like that.
Well, we have incentives, but I don't know that it's, the incentives are there to, the incentives are there to make them want to come to work. I think part of our engagement strategy and culture building is that we do reinforce positive things, but we do a lot of it in non-financial ways, in praise and accolades and jobs well done. We do have some incentives, though, that we build into attendance, where they can pick up, an extra $50 a month if they come in and work every day and don't take off. So, that helps, but we have a lot of programs developed around things that are not financial to get them to want to come to work.
Ties back to that morale, boosting that morale. Do you believe the majority of your employees accept responsibility, or are they asked to assume responsibility? What would you?
I think most of my employees want to assume responsibility. They like the diversity that comes with giving them tasks to do because you're proud of the way they performed already. For them, sometimes it's a power booster. It's a trust that they have in me and the other management team. We know the ones that want to accept more to do, and we help promote that. For example, the good ones that we have in the building, we encourage our dietary people and our housekeeping people to become CNAs. We encourage our CNAs to become LPNs. We encourage our good LPNs to become RNs. So they assume these different roles based on how well they've done in the past. And I think for them, it's a career ladder, and they like it. And then they stay with the company.
Well, you just answered the question, how do you delegate responsibility? So that's what you would promote, that an interest in further along their professional development.
Right, career ladders.
Would you say you prefer verbal or written communication when you're assigning this responsibility or you're delegating authority? What works best for you?
Verbal. I don't like writing. Never have liked writing. I just sit down with people and just talk to them face to face, and emails are so impersonal. Texts are impersonal. If I want you to do something for me, I want to sit and talk to you and see if you got any questions about it, and create that personal touch. So my style is definitely verbal.
Yes. And along the lines of leadership style, would you consider yourself to be more democratic, or, I know the answer to this, the more authoritarian?
Democratic.
Yes. And an example, if you could just give a brief example of how your democratic leadership style might play out one day on the floor.
Well, if I want to look at a new program, a new activities program for one of the residents, or changing the menus, or a particular policy or procedure that we have in the building, if it affects more than one person, I would sometimes bring a group of people together. We sit and talk and hash through it. They know that the ultimate responsibility is going to be mine to make the decision, but I ask for input, and that way I know if I'm going to have buy-in in the beginning and don't have to wait until things crash on the outcome. So yeah, that would be the example. Group meetings.
Yes, and that was long. How often do you meet with your staff or your team? Weekly, monthly?
I meet with my management team every morning. I make rounds on the floor every day. I come in on Sundays because I have staff that only work on the weekends. So I come in every Sunday and make rounds on the staff and the families. Because on Sunday we have more families here than we do during the week because they're working. I meet with the entire team once a month on all 3 shifts, on a teammate forum, open forum, and tell them what's going on with the building, how we're doing financially, how the residents are doing, praise the people that got praises, and then ask them if they have the tools and equipment they need to do their job, and if not, I manage to go get them for them.
That's excellent. And your colleagues and your members of management and your other staff, how would you think they would describe you as a leader?
Crazy, nuts, needs to be put away. They're already dreading the fact that I'm going to be leaving again, and I think they describe me as somebody that can come in and get things done, and I do, and have this last time since I've been here 6 months, and you can't imagine what we've accomplished. We work well together. They know I'm serious, but yet we have a lot of fun.
That's important. Yes. What do you think motivates your team? What gives them that? What drives them? Other than taking care of the obvious, taking care of the patient, the client rather.
Being shown appreciation from each other, from peer to peer, from peer to staff member, from me to them, them to me. It's just constant compliments. Every morning in our morning meeting, the managers bring up something they've seen in the last 24 hours that they would like us to go back to the staff and say, job well done. Heard from a family member that you really took care of mom last night, and I appreciate that. So just talk to them, communicate, be available.
Let's say you have a difficult task coming on. Maybe it's opening a new center, or maybe it's implementing a new program. How do you go about rallying the troops to face this challenge, if you would?
Well, we have one going on right now. We're going to meet tomorrow. An outside company is going to come in and take over our laundry and housekeeping positions here in the building. Okay, so last week I had to meet with the staff and say, we've hired a new company to come in and they're going to run housekeeping and the laundry. Oh my God, they all like to die. But what I did was I started out by reassuring them that they're not going to lose their jobs, they're not going to lose their pay, everything's going to be cool. But let me talk about some of the benefits that the company's going to bring to your job, to make your job easier, and to be able to hire people faster when people quit and go somewhere else to work, and give you the products and the tools you need to do your job better, because I'm not an expert on floor care or how to do somebody's laundry, but this company is, and they're going to be in 133 of our buildings, and these are the things they're going to bring to the table. And I think it made them feel a lot better, but I nipped it in the bud first day by just being frank with them and just telling them, well, we've hired this company to bring it in instead of hearing it through the grapevine. Just, again, it's communication, face to face.
And what sort of leads me to my next question. I don't know if that would resonate conflict, but along those lines, how do you approach resolving a conflict? Let's say one member of management said, yes, I want this company, the other one said, I don't. How would you go about handling that situation?
You mean the employees?
Yes, if there was conflict between yourself and the employee, or two employees maybe on the same team that didn't agree on what the outcome should be. Problem solving or customer relations, or
I guess between me and the staff would be, I give them a chance to voice what they want, to complain if they want to complain. People were nervous. You know, I don't want to lose my boss. My supervisor's been my supervisor for 3 years. I said, she's not going anywhere. She's going with the new company. She's going to be the supervisor. But allow them the chance to voice and to share their concerns. And again, there's nothing we can do to change the contract that's been written by the company, but we have to learn to get along, or, you know, it's just talk through it with them, but give them don't shut them up, give them a chance to voice the concern. Put it out on the table and see if we can't come to a resolution on it. Because you can't affect change. They're still going to be here whether you want them to come in or not.
Is there any situation that maybe was early in your career, or just something that stood out to you that, say, you and an employee just really were kind of butting heads? How did you?
You mean me as the boss and the employee?
Yes, yes. How did you work through that?
Okay, came here the first few days I was here, this second time. A staff member was coming back for the leave of absence, and within a day or two of both of us arriving back at the building, this person started taking pot shots at me in my management meeting in the morning, making fun, rolling their eyes, bad body language. So I brought over here and said, what's going on with this? Oh, nothing. I didn't mean nothing bad. And I said, well, no. Here's the way it works. I have one team in the building. I am a team member, as you are. You're a management person. If you roll your eyes at me in the meeting, make sounds or grunts or complain or talk about me behind my back, I will escort you to the door. Unless you can explain to me why you're doing those activities in my meeting. She couldn't. And it was very, very ugly, and it was blatant, and everybody saw her do this to me because the other administrator who was here allowed her to do that all the time.
Wow.
So we just had a little come to Jesus. I don't like to do that, but I didn't have time to fix the problem. I wanted it gone that day. It ain't a work improvement plan. It's next time you're out the door. She's now been with me here for 5.5 months. She's one of my best managers I have.
That answered my next question is what was the result of that? That's
She
great.
understood.
Tell me about a time that you may have thought, well, maybe I failed as a leader, whether it be with a decision or a move from one position to another, or maybe let another employee down that you thought maybe you let them down. Maybe actually you didn't, but
That's a hard one.
that is difficult. You know, we always remember our success stories, but a good leader forgets and should always forget their mistakes, if you would. That's for lack of a better.
That many. I can't even think of any. Everything I've ever done in my career, I've done because I wanted it done. I wanted to do it. I have never been called on authority. I have never. Yes, dear. I've always been promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. I just don't get in trouble. But I'm a very compassionate person, and I don't remember letting anybody down. I really, truly don't. There are some people who have left that I would rather not have left, but it was their choice, and they needed to move on in their own life. But I can't take that as my problem or my failure. It was something personal that was going on in their life that I had nothing to do with. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. 2 more questions. What methods have you used in the past to gain trust from one of your staff or employees that maybe you felt like they weren't really open communicators, or they were reserved, or just said just as few words as possible to answer the questions? Or how did you evolve that relationship?
I involve them more. If they don't want to talk to me and they want to be a little standoffish and all that, one of my teachers in class taught me this. They would come stand next to the person, which immediately shuts them up if they're talking in one of your meetings and not paying attention or not wanting to participate. But asking them directly questions and forcing them to participate, and then bragging on what they come up with to the other team to make them feel important. If they're in my meetings and they're laying their heads down on the table, I would just look at them and say, "Are you tired? You know, if you don't feel good and you need to go home, just let me know. You know, I don't want you, if you're sick or what." "No, I just didn't sleep good last night." I said, "Okay, but let me know if you need to go home." When I say it like that, then they sit up, their eyes are open, and they're sitting at the table again and not laying on the table. I think sometimes people do things just to see if you get a reaction from the management team or whatever. So anyway, I just focus on that person and try to engage them and bring them into whatever I want them to be doing.
That's good philosophy. Last question. Over the last 3 to 5 years, is there a big decision that you made that you might have wished you had changed your mind? For example, retirement, coming back to work, going from one center to accepting this position at another center. Is there one big decision that you thought, maybe if I had that to do over again, I'd do something differently?
No. That's what I told you a while ago.
Yeah.
There's nothing I've done in my life that I haven't chosen to do. And if I wanted to stay retired, I would have. They asked me to come back. You know, the president calls you and makes you feel good. Again, it's that drawing you in. Joe Starr can draw anybody into anything. And he called me up after 8 months laying on the couch saying, "I need your help down in Tennessee. Can you go down there for just a couple weeks?" 6 months later, he brought me back home. But no, I've chosen to do everything I've ever wanted to do. I chose to be here. I didn't have to come here.
That's the way to play it on your terms. Charlie, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to interview you today.
And
I really
remember to
appreciate
put on
it.
the bottom of your paper to your teacher that this is an A+, and you need to get that A+ there so you get your 3.0 hours.
That's right, exactly.
Awesome.